Okay, hi guys, hi everyone. I wanted to quickly um, make a sort of continuation of the previous video that I've made, um, where I've coached fullorfake, and I wanted to I start to just go over some of the major things I mentioned. Um, he's not at a bad level at all, but I assume not everyone is in a terrible level, especially if you are watching me. But hey, these videos are meant to be for everyone, and I will try to um, explain things a little bit better and a bit slower, um, so that everyone is able to understand. So first of all, I will just mention that I want to do this more often. I want to look at people playing, and I want to just um, well give some sort of coaching and try to help um, with just improving at the game. Um, and that's what I will try to do in this. Today I coached fullorfake. I think I will probably coach him again soon because this was a bit too fast, and it would be nice to be able to coach him as well in terms of fighting strategy, which we didn't really get to in this round. But I will say this is a short video compared to usual, but it is very useful because a lot of people have a lot of trouble in the beginning. So the the most important thing, um, the most important thing of the round a lot of the times is the first is the first like 20 minutes. So let's get into it and let's look at what he did badly, and um, and let's see how it could have been done better. So first of all, I will mute this so you don't have to listen. Okay, we all know this. Maybe it looks a bit too small, the screen. I don't know how I can fix that, if I can at all. Um, but yeah, this beginning is where you should uh, join the round. You should deactivate these things because they are annoying, these alerts. You should deactivate the results because you don't want to give free information to your enemies. You should come here to the reports and you should put a 0 here in the reports per page. Um, these things that will take not too long and that you can do while you are waiting for your spears producing. So that's a really good moment for that. He did that, so yeah, that's fine. Um, here he started farming with like 8, I believe. Yeah, that's totally fine. You can start with like 8 to 7 to like 11 is fine to start with. So here he's being a bit too slow here already. He's farming, and look, he's still here in this page. There's 2 seconds left. The troops are back, you see? And now he goes to the map. He doesn't even go to the map yet. He's looking at this. But what you should do here is, as soon as the units are back, this round is not very good to explain that because the barbarians are far away. But you want to be in the map screen as you can send an attack back. So let's say I had an incoming attack arriving back, and it was like 2 seconds from arriving. I would want to be on the map already, and I would want to be on this screen, on attacking a new village screen, and I would be clicking enter. As you can see, it even makes a sound in OpenGX. It's reloading the page. In Chrome, it also works. So you just come here, you just click here, you don't touch anything else, and you just reload. If you touch something else like this, it stops reloading, I believe. Yeah, it's not reloading, it's not like shaking. But if I do this, it will like shake. You're seeing it, right? That means it's reloading. And if it's reloading, now I have 0. But if the troops were coming back to my village, I would get at a point where the amount of troops that are in my village would just be here. And so he was here on the page, if he was on the map with like 1 or 2 seconds left for the attack to come back, he could just do this, reload, and when all the spears are back, he could just, all the troops, attack, and send. Easy, that's done. That's the first way you can do it, and I've done that for very long, and sometimes I do that, sometimes I do the other thing that I will explain after, which is what I was also trying to explain to him. So, when you attack a village, I will quickly research these units because they are fast. Let's make some of these. I will just quickly send an attack to this. But you see, when I attack a village, I am able to go to the report and I have some options on the down part of the script. So here, I can just copy this, attack again with all of the units. It's what it should say in English um, tribal war servers or something similar to that if you are in any other server. You can just come here and you can just copy this link. This is what we use for dodge basically. But for dodge we attack a village that is far away, so we have the units far away from home. But here, if I wanted to make it faster to farm, I could just come here, attack again with all troops, and what do? I have some B1, B2, B3 things here, and I can edit them. They will just stay here forever because I added them to my favorites bar. To do this on Opera, you right click here and you just add a new website, and then the URL you can save it as it appears when you first save it because you don't really have an URL. But then you go into it and you edit. I just saved as B1, B2, B3 because it's easier like that. And what do I do normally? And you've seen me do this in some videos if you have watched a lot of videos from me. But basically, when I have like two villages and both of them are at one tile, or if I have three, for example, what would I do? I would say this one is B1. Let's say I believe you can see the screen. If I had barbs here, I would say this one is like B1, this one is B2, and this one is B3. And I would be attacking them in an alternated way. So I would attack this one first, then I would attack this one, and then I would attack this one, and then I would attack this one, etc. So what would I do? Um, Instead of like wasting time looking at absolutely nothing um, between the attacks, I would go to the report, I would click on the copy link of the attack again with all units, and I would save it here. And so next time I want to attack that village, I can just come here. So let's say I finished attacking Barb 3, if you remember. I finished attacking Barb 3. Then I want to attack Barb 1. Okay, I just click here, and I can click send attack. So I don't even have to worry about being on the map. That is good in short term, obviously. In the long term, you will never use that because it's pointless. Um, it's only for the beginning, but it really makes everything much faster, and it's definitely worth doing, especially if you have two villages that are at the same distance. So this is why I have three. It's unlikely that you will have four at the same distance, and honestly, I'm not really worried. I use this mostly for the 1v1 tournament. I don't know if you watched any video on it, but basically there were two villages at the same distance. So yeah, that was basically it. So that is one thing. The thing of the barbs. So that is something you can use. But both of those options are good to just make you faster and more efficient. Um, Other thing that I was criticizing him for was when he was in the map. Let's go back a few seconds. I want to have the map open. Here, when he was in this screen, he was wanting to attack. Uh, First, he wanted to attack this village after attacking these two. So let's cut these two. He wanted to attack this one, but this one is not the closest one. This village is 2 tiles here and 1 tile here. So this is like 2.3 tiles or something like that. This village is the correct one you should be attacking because it's only 2 tiles. You see? So this is the one you should attack first. You should first attack the ones that are closer. It would be this one after, or even this one. They are at the same distance, and this one is also at the same distance. And after that, the closest ones would then be this one or this one. Um, yeah, those are the closest. This one is also same distance as that. But it is important for you to be able to look at the map and just know what is closer and what isn't, obviously. Um, you you should attack the ones that are closer first because, well, it's quite obvious you don't want to wait for the spears for that long. So you should do that. Of course, it only matters early game because in the middle of the game even you will be using the map farm script, so it's not like it really matters a lot. What else? What else did I want to mention? Um, I wanted to mention um, the beginning of farming um, here, the transition to LCAV. Well, there were some mistakes here in the middle, but I'm not going to mention them. Um, they had mostly got to do with just being slow on doing things, or with like having the warehouse full, or with taking too long to upgrade the wood mine. But I mentioned all of those in the video, so yeah, that should be fine. What I did want to mention was this. He also um, baited himself in a way, I guess. He like made more spears than he had to for no reason at all. Um, then in this side, you see um, in the farm assistant side, he still had 15 entries per page, um, which is not correct. As soon as you have one or two entries on this page, you want to change this 15 here, just like I showed you me changing the number of reports per page. It's the same thing here. I just add a zero at the end, and it goes to the maximum of 100. So this is also something you should do immediately because if you only have 15 entries in a page, you will have to be reloading it every time, and you don't want that to happen, obviously. Um, then he also had troubles on setting by time the the filter, and it's quite simple. He probably was just not aware that that's how filters worked. But you can just click here on tempo, as you can see where my cursor is, and that will filter by time. Then this cursor, this thing here, will filter by distance. That's the two things that I change between sometimes. So yeah, for the early game, that's pretty much it. Then here, sometimes it took a bit too long to farm with the spears. Um, in the beginning, when you don't have many Alcav, spears is what's gonna bring you the most resources. So that is that's very important. Um, here, as you can see, he had a lot of clay. I also mentioned this in the other video, but I will mention it again here. Um, when you have a lot of clay, you can just upgrade the wall. Later on, if you watch the video, you know what happened. If he had his wall higher, it would have been different, the outcome of this. So, um, just getting those early extra wall levels, especially when you can't upgrade anything else. You don't really have a lot of resources at this stage. Um, getting the early wall levels is definitely important, so you don't have to worry about it later. Here, it started getting a bit better, of course. Um, this part ends up being just a matter of repetition, and his biggest problem here was just with this that I will quickly show you. Um, he had, let's say, two screens, one here. Let's quickly do this. This annoying bar. How do I remove this? Uh, uh, I honestly have no clue. Well, I will do that later. Um, but basically, he was just taking way too long clicking on the other tab. So he would he would be like farming on this page. So let's go there. Let's farm. Um, let's put this smaller because I can't. Can I now? Yes, I can. Okay. So he was here. He was farming normally. Did I? No, I didn't set 100. Now it is done. Uh, you are okay. So he was here farming and he wanted to create something in the village. So he would go here, he would stop farming here, and he would do this, and he would. This is wrong. You're not farming right now. What you should do is you're here farming. Then you go, I'm still here. I didn't click in this tab. I'm still farming, you see. I will run out of villages to farm. Okay, that's included. Okay, that's fine. So I'm here, I'm farming. Then I click here and then I click back. So I don't stop farming. Then I click here and then I click back instantly. And then this is gonna end. I'm gonna be looking at it and I'm gonna click R to reload. And after I reload, I can go here and I can upgrade HQ, for example. And then I click back and then I click. Every time I click on this side, I'm clicking on this side immediately. It's basically an instinct at this point. It's just so you never lose any second of farming. That is the entire goal of this. And of course, you do not want to lose any time. Earlier on, he was also doing something that I will mention now. Actually, that's important. A lot of the times he was like here on this page, whatever, and he would be like uh, typing the exact number, like 30, when he could just click here and make all of the units. Of course, not 63,000 as I can in this speed, because this speed is crazy. But he could just click there and he would lose way less time of doing other things. So sometimes it's fine to just click on make all the units. That's totally fine. Especially because if you have to be here, you're like farming, right? And then you have to come here. If you need to type, you actually need to not be clicking A. Or else this will happen, right? Or A or Q or whatever it is. So, yeah, 25. You put your number and then you do this. Sometimes I do this myself. Um, but you don't always need to do this, and he was always doing this. So that's also something. Um, other things. What else is there to mention? Is there anything else? I don't really think so. I think that after this he stabilized. The early part is the weirdest part. And this thing of clicking on one tab and clicking back, um, that 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 becomes automatic more or less with practice, and the more you play the game, the more used to it you will be. Um, he was clicking a bit too fast in this as well. I also told him that, but that's totally fine. And then in the fighting part, um, he could have reacted in a different way. He could have been more ready, but I didn't even want to pressure him with this because that was not the goal of this. It was mostly just the sprint and to see how he was doing in that. And I think this was a success. I don't think it was a waste of time at all. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That is all I have to tell you. And I felt like I had to make this because this video ended way too quickly because he wanted to check something. Anyway, um, so yeah, that's pretty much the summary of this video, and I hope this helped you understand things that maybe you hadn't. Um, but yeah, I plan on doing this more often now. If you would want to be a part of it, um, well, just message me in Discord, join the group, or if you're having troubles, um, the group link will be in the description, of course, as usual. If you're having trouble with that, just type in the comments and I'll look at it. But yeah, I want to help people become better, so that, well, especially so that the rounds we play, the random tribe rounds, become even more fun and more competitive. That's the goal, because sometimes you have players that are a bit confused in those rounds. And if we level the playing field, at least with these things, the sprint, the um, ideas on how to fight, those things, the rounds will become way more competitive. And so that is exactly what I am trying to do here. So yeah, I hope you enjoy watching. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and more things to come. Actually, there are some more videos from this weekend that I still have not uploaded. I will upload in the coming days, and I will probably do this more often. The coaching sessions, if there is interest, of course. If there isn't interest, I can't force people to get coached. But I think it's advantageous for everyone. I get to make videos about this, and people get to know more, because seeing others commit mistakes and learning by them is very good. And if I'm playing and just speed running and doing everything very fast, I don't really have the time to explain everything I've done wrong, or the logic between why I should be doing something else and not what I did.
But like this, I can just sit here and look at the mistakes and go through them with you. And yeah, that's the objective of these videos. Um, Now I remembered something completely random from the game, but yeah. Um, as I was mentioning earlier as well, I'm just gonna say this and then I will end. Um, when you are early in the game, you can make some wall levels, especially because of the clay. You see, he always has more clay than the other resources, etc., etc. Later, that will not be the case because you use clay to upgrade your things in the HQ, especially your especially your HQ, if you are sprinting. Like here is no, it's actually still clay. The resource he has the most of. But the logic here, the thing I'm trying to tell you is, you should be looking at the amount of resources you have, and you should be adapting your choices based on that. So if the resource you have the most of by a lot, I mean, no, it doesn't even need to be like by a lot. It depends on your warehouse size, of course. If the one you have the most of is wood, you should upgrade your barracks because barracks you use wood a lot for spears and for well, for really anything. Besides swords, of course. Swords is mostly iron, but yeah, I mean, if you are playing off, you are not that focused in Elcavs. If you are playing def, you are not that focused in Elcavs anyway. If it's the opposite, if you have a lot of iron, you just go for more stable levels because you can produce more Elcavs. That's basically the logic. Um, then clay means you can just probably better if you upgrade some resources of the others because you have a big um, imbalance between the resources. And if you have a lot of clay, you would like to upgrade your HQ or your wall. It all depends on the scenario, and I'm sure we will have times if I continue doing this where there will be that decision to be made, and you will also learn more about it. But yeah, I've said I would end this like 2 minutes ago. Now I will. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.